What if every single morning the universe handed you a blank canvas, and without realizing it, you painted your future on it? The brush isn't made of paint, it's made of your choices. What you think, what you ignore, what you do without even noticing. Most people sleepwalk through their days, unaware that they are slowly building a life that doesn't reflect their soul, brick by brick, habit by habit. Not from one big mistake, but from small decisions repeated in silence. So the question is not what will happen to you. The question is, what are you creating? Why do some people seem grounded in peace, even while the world around them shakes? And why do others, despite success, money, and comfort, feel empty, anxious, and lost? The answer is simpler than you think, and deeper than you've ever been taught. In this video, you'll uncover the 10 invisible forces shaping your life, right now, whether you're aware of them or not. These are not motivational slogans. These are timeless, soul-rooted truths drawn from ancient wisdom and sharpened by modern clarity. And if you stay until the end, I'll share a bonus principle. One so powerful, it could completely shift the way you think about growth, purpose, and the path you're walking. You don't need more noise. You need stillness. And in that stillness, a truth is waiting. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Your attitude is your inner climate. Storms are a part of life. Some days come like heavy rain. Others feel like violent winds shaking everything you thought was stable. But your attitude, that's the sky behind the storm. Always there, always yours to choose. Imagine the bamboo tree, graceful, flexible, and deeply rooted. It bends in the wind, but does not break. This is the quiet strength of a resilient mind, not denying the presence of hardship, but learning how to move with it, not against it. Most people spend their energy resisting what already is, wishing circumstances were different, blaming the world, or clinging to frustration. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, suffering isn't born from pain. It's born from resistance to pain. Pain is part of life, but suffering, that's optional. When you stop arguing with reality and start accepting it, you discover a strange, calming power. Peace. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe a dream didn't unfold the way you hoped. These are not life's punishments. They're life's teachers. If you change the lens through which you view them, the entire picture shifts. Obstacles become stepping stones. Disappointments become redirections. Each moment becomes a choice, not to control what happens, but to choose how you respond. There's an old truth whispered in monasteries. You're not punished for your anger, you're punished by it. The same is true for your mindset. A negative perspective creates its own cage. If you see the world through bitterness, everything becomes a threat. But when you approach life with curiosity and calm, even failure teaches. Even pain transforms. Think of the farmer whose horse ran away. Neighbors rushed in. How unlucky, they said. He only replied, maybe. Then the horse returned with more. What fortune, they exclaimed. Again, maybe, he said. Then his son broke his leg taming one. Bad luck again. But when the army arrived to draft young men for war, the injured son was spared. Life is never one color. It shifts, changes, and unfolds beyond our immediate understanding. A positive attitude isn't blind optimism. It's deep trust that even when things feel broken, the path is still leading somewhere meaningful. And here's what most people miss. Your attitude doesn't just shape your life. It shapes the lives of those around you. Your energy is contagious. Walk into a space with calm presence, and you shift the energy of the room. Show patience when someone is angry, and you disarm their fire. One kind word, one breath of compassion, can change someone's entire day, maybe even their entire path. Just like a single candle can light 1,000 more without losing its flame, your peaceful presence can ripple outward in ways you may never witness. So today, instead of reacting, pause. Instead of judging, listen. Ask yourself, Where can I open my heart instead of closing it? What challenge can I meet with gentleness instead of resistance? Because growth doesn't arrive in perfect conditions. It arrives in the storm. When you rise again, not in spite of the wind, but because you learned how to bend with it. Lesson 2. Speak like you're building a bridge. Each word we speak is either a thread that weaves hearts together or a wedge that silently pushes them apart. Communication, in its truest form, is not about speaking. It's about connection. And yet, in our modern world filled with noise and urgency, we often let our words become weapons instead of offerings. We speak quickly, listen half-heartedly, and react before we've truly understood. In doing so, we miss the sacred opportunity that exists in every conversation, the chance to see and be seen. In Buddhism, there is a principle called right speech, a gentle reminder that our words should be truthful, kind, and timely, not just spoken with accuracy, but spoken with heart. This isn't a commandment, it's a practice, one that asks us to slow down, to choose silence when silence heals, and to speak when words can open something deeper. There is a story of a man constantly at odds with his wife. Every exchange between them became a battlefield, not of fists, but of words sharpened by ego. Frustrated and exhausted, he turned to a monk and asked, "Why does she never understand me?" The monk, without answering directly, handed him a bowl of still water and asked him to stir it. As he stirred, the water turned murky. The monk said, "Now wait." In silence, the man watched as the water slowly settled and cleared. "This," said the monk, "is your mind when you argue. Clouded, restless. You cannot see truth when you constantly stir the surface. Words spoken in anger are like stones thrown into water. They create ripples of confusion. But when we learn to pause, when we speak from a still place, clarity returns. The deepest wisdom doesn't always come through speech. Often, it arrives in silence. A single moment of restraint can prevent years of regret. A breath held before reacting can save a relationship. A compassionate pause can become the doorway to understanding. This isn't just philosophy, it's how life works. In business, the wisest leaders are not those who dominate meetings, but those who truly listen. In relationships, the most meaningful moments are often wrapped in quiet presence, not grand speeches. And in friendships, it's the one who listens without judgment who becomes the safest space. When we communicate without mindfulness, we scatter tension everywhere we go, in our homes, our offices, even in our own minds. But when we practice mindful speech, when we speak with care and listen with patience, we become bridges in a world filled with barriers. So how do we build this kind of presence? Begin here. Before you speak, ask, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Let your words pass through this gate. Next, listen not just for words, but for emotion. Don't plan your reply while someone is speaking. That's not listening. That's waiting to speak. And finally, embrace silence. Let it breathe between your sentences. Not every space must be filled. Sometimes, the greatest closeness is born in stillness. A strong bridge is built with care. A careless one collapses. So too are your words. Each time you speak, you are laying a stone toward connection or away from it. So ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you truly listened without shaping a reply in your head? In the end, the quality of your speech reflects the quality of your presence. And presence, not perfection, is what brings people closer. Lesson 3. Discipline is the path, not the prison. Imagine a river without banks, wild, scattered, losing itself in all directions. It may carry power, but without structure, it never reaches the sea. This is what life looks like without discipline. You might have dreams, potential, even deep wisdom within, but without discipline, they drift into chaos. Self-discipline, in the Buddhist tradition, is not about control through fear or rigid suffering. It's about gentle mastery. It's the art of shaping your life with intention, like a potter molding clay with steady hands. With each small, conscious choice, you're sculpting the version of yourself that rises with clarity, strength, and purpose. A wandering mind is like an untrained horse, restless, impulsive, and easily led astray. But a disciplined mind becomes your most powerful ally. That's why monks rise before the world stirs, why they walk slowly, speak mindfully, and eat in silence. Their discipline isn't a burden, it's liberation. Because when you no longer serve your cravings and distractions, you begin to serve your true nature. The Buddha once gave a beautiful teaching to a seeker of peace. He said, "Remove I, that is ego. Remove want, that is attachment. And what remains is peace." That's the truth at the center of self-discipline, letting go of what weighs you down so your life can move freely. And it doesn't take grand gestures to begin. True discipline is found in the small moments, waking up when you said you would, pausing before speaking in anger, choosing silence over distraction, meditating for 5 quiet minutes. These simple acts shape your destiny, not by force, but through consistency. Discipline grants you something indulgence never can: freedom. The freedom to direct your attention, the freedom to choose your response, the freedom to rise, even when your old habits try to pull you back down. So ask yourself this: what's one small discipline you can honor for the next 21 days? Maybe it's silence in the morning. Maybe it's writing a few honest lines in a journal. Maybe it's resisting the urge to scroll when your soul needs stillness. Whatever it is, begin. Not to impress the world, but to free yourself from the chaos within. Because in the end, who you become is built not by what you do once in a while, but by what you choose, day after day, moment after moment, breath after breath. Lesson 4. Shift your mindset. Imagine your mind as a compass, quietly guiding every step you take. Now ask yourself, where is it pointing? Toward fear and limitation, or toward growth and expansion? Because wherever your mind leads, your life will follow. Buddhist philosophy teaches us that suffering doesn't come from the world, it comes from within. It's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it. A mind trained in scarcity will always feel that something's missing, even in abundance. But a mind grounded in presence and awareness sees wholeness even in simplicity. One day, a young man visited a monk and said, "My life is full of chaos. Nothing works out." The monk offered him tea. He poured and poured until the cup spilled over. The young man grew frustrated and asked, "Why are you doing this?" The monk replied, "Like this cup, your mind is already overflowing, with doubt, with fear, with complaints. Until you empty it, there's no space for anything new." This is the essence of shifting your mindset. You're not battling the world. You're battling the story you keep telling yourself about the world. Maybe you've whispered to yourself, "I'm not worthy," or "Things never go right for me." But have you ever paused and asked, is that the truth, or just an old echo I've mistaken for truth? The mind repeats what's familiar, even if it hurts. But once you begin questioning these stories, something incredible happens. Space opens up. That's when transformation begins. Just like a garden overrun with weeds, your mind can become tangled with fear, comparison, and doubt. But weeds can be cleared. And every moment you choose gratitude over bitterness, hope over helplessness, you plant something new. This isn't about wishful thinking, it's about clear seeing. Buddhism teaches mindfulness for this very reason. The moment you become aware of a thought, you gain power over it. You no longer live as a prisoner to every passing worry. Instead, you become the observer, the awareness that watches without judgment. Imagine holding a rope and pulling hard. The tension tightens. But the moment you let go, the strain disappears. That's your mind. When you stop struggling against your thoughts and begin to watch them without resistance, they lose their grip. So ask yourself now, what belief have you clung to for too long? What inner script is keeping you small? Because here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the stillness behind them. And in that stillness, you'll find freedom. Lesson 5. Optimize your time before it disappears. Time doesn't shout as it leaves. It slips through your fingers like mist, like sand caught in a breeze, quiet, unnoticed, irreversible. And yet, most of us live as though we have all the time in the world. We race through days filled with noise, rushing from one urgency to the next, while what truly matters waits patiently in the background, unseen, unheard. In Buddhist philosophy, time is not a possession, it's a teacher. It doesn't just pass, it whispers truth. Nothing lasts, not this breath, not this day, not even this life. And that's exactly why every moment is sacred. A student once asked a Buddhist master, "What is the greatest illusion?" The master answered simply, "That you think you have time." Think about that. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow. One day I'll write that book. Someday I'll call my father. Eventually I'll rest." But one day is the story we tell ourselves to delay living. And quietly, life slips past us while we wait for perfect timing that never arrives. The world praises the busy. We admire full calendars and endless hustle. But busyness is not the same as purpose. A spinning wheel moves quickly, yet it goes nowhere. So too does a life packed with noise but empty of meaning. When we do too much, we forget what truly matters. And in forgetting, we lose ourselves. Buddhism invites us to live with intention. It doesn't ask you to hurry. It asks you to wake up, to see that time is not just something to spend, it's something to feel. A quiet morning walk, a shared smile, a cup of tea held with both hands. These aren't distractions from life, these are life. You don't need more time, you need less waste. So how do you reclaim what is already slipping away? Start by asking, does this nourish my life? If the answer is no, release it. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to walk away from what drains your spirit. Then look at your distractions, the endless scroll, the mindless noise, the obligations born from guilt, not love. These are thieves, stealing minutes you'll never get back. You have the power to lock the door, and most importantly, return to the present. Be fully where you are. When you eat, taste every bite. When you rest, rest like the earth after rain. When you speak to someone, let your mind be as still as a mountain, listening, receiving, present. Picture a single flame, soft, steady, glowing. That flame is your focus. Place it in the winds of chaos, and it flickers. Shield it with mindfulness, and it lights your path. That's the power of intention. So ask yourself now, what will I let go of to reclaim what truly matters? Will you finally stop chasing what doesn't serve you? Will you stop postponing joy, healing, peace? Time won't wait, but you can. You can pause right now and choose differently. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Because this moment is not just passing by, it's offering you a chance to truly live. Lesson 6. Let wisdom ripen like fruit on the tree of life. Imagine standing beneath a great Bodhi tree. Its leaves whisper in the wind, its roots anchored deep in centuries of silence. This tree has seen seekers come and go, some hungry for answers, others weighed down by questions. But it offers no shortcuts, no instant truths. It waits patiently because it knows. Wisdom doesn't arrive with noise. It ripens slowly, like fruit in the sun. This is the nature of true knowledge. In our modern world, we consume information like fast food. Quick bites of quotes, headlines, podcasts played at double speed. We scroll, we skim, we save. But rarely do we sit and digest. Knowledge becomes clutter. Like an overfilled bowl, our minds spill with facts, yet our hearts remain untouched. Buddhism teaches, don't just collect the teachings, live them. The Dhamma is not decoration, it is transformation. Wisdom isn't found in memorizing sacred words. It's found in the silence after applying them. There's an old story. A disciple once asked a monk, "Master, I've read 100 books, yet I still feel lost. What should I read next?" The monk smiled and replied, "Close the books. Open your life." The greatest truths are not hiding in distant texts. They're waiting in your daily actions. When you wash the dishes with presence, you understand mindfulness. When you speak with kindness in the middle of conflict, you embody compassion. When you pause before reacting, you taste wisdom. So how do we truly grow in knowledge? Start with depth, not width. It's better to understand one teaching deeply than skim through 100 shallowly. Take one truth, like impermanence or gratitude, and let it echo through your days. Observe how it changes your choices. Let it become breath, not just thought. Then reflect and apply. After you learn something new, ask, where in my life does this belong? Wisdom unpracticed is like rain that never touches the soil. Let each insight water your habits, your relationships, your moments of silence. Next, surround yourself with mirrors, not noise. Choose voices that challenge your thinking, books that slow you down, people who question, not just agree. Wisdom is not about being certain, it's about being willing to learn again and again. And above all, empty your cup often. If your mind is always full of conclusions, there's no room for new understanding. Approach life with a beginner's heart, a quiet openness. Real knowledge humbles. It doesn't shout, it bows. In truth, the journey of wisdom is not upward, but inward. Not toward knowing more, but becoming less tangled. Not toward answering everything, but learning what to hold and what to let go. So ask yourself not, what else can I learn? But, what have I learned that I still haven't lived? Let your life become the scripture. Let your presence become the teaching. Let your silence reveal what words cannot. Because in the end, it's not the mind that holds the wisdom. It's the soul that lives it. Lesson 7. Improving financial habits. Money is often seen as the answer to all of life's problems. But in reality, it's not about how much we earn. It's about how we relate to it. In Buddhism, wealth is not measured by possessions, but by inner balance and clarity. If your finances bring you stress, fear, or constant worry, then no matter the amount, you're not truly rich. Real wealth begins with awareness and intention. Many people live their lives like passengers on a runaway train of spending, buying things to escape boredom, loneliness, or the illusion of happiness sold to us by ads and trends. They chase after more, hoping it will quiet the anxiety inside. But the more they acquire, the emptier they feel. The Buddha taught that craving leads to suffering, and nowhere is this more evident than in our relationship with money. Let's pause and reflect. Do your financial choices bring you closer to peace or further into stress? Do you feel grounded after making a purchase, or slightly anxious, as if something is off? The truth is, every time we spend without awareness, we lose a little more of our inner stability. Not because spending is wrong, but because spending without purpose separates us from what truly matters. To build healthy financial habits, we need to slow down and get honest. Begin by observing where your money goes each month, not to shame yourself, but to understand your patterns. Are you paying for convenience, for comfort, for appearances? What could you let go of that doesn't serve your deeper values? This isn't about cutting every joy from your life. It's about aligning your spending with your priorities. Instead of chasing luxury, pursue simplicity. Instead of hoarding wealth, practice generosity. Instead of reacting to every desire, develop the strength to wait and reflect. Financial peace doesn't come from more income. It comes from wiser choices. Saving a small amount each week, planning your expenses, or resisting an unnecessary purchase may seem minor, but over time, they create freedom. Remember, you don't need to be rich to live well. A modest life, lived with clarity and intention, can be far more fulfilling than a lavish one filled with restlessness. True wealth is waking up without anxiety, sleeping without debt, and walking through life unchained by financial fear. Ask yourself today, what habit can I change to bring more ease to my finances? Can I simplify a part of my life? Can I find joy in what I already have? These small shifts, made consistently, transform not only our wallets, but our hearts. Because in the end, wealth is not about owning more, but needing less, and finding peace in that space between enough and abundance. Lesson 8. Practicing gratitude. Gratitude is not just saying thank you, it's a way of seeing. It's a gentle shift in the heart that turns ordinary moments into quiet miracles. In a world that constantly urges us to want more, to chase the next goal, or to fix what feels broken, gratitude becomes a radical act of contentment. It doesn't deny what's hard, but it allows us to recognize what's already whole. In Buddhist thought, gratitude is a form of awareness, a practice that helps dissolve the illusion of lack. When we are grateful, we stop measuring life by what is missing. Instead, we begin to notice what is already here, the breath that moves through our lungs, the light filtering through the trees, the small acts of kindness that often go unnoticed. Each of these is a gift, waiting to be seen. But let's not pretend it's always easy. Life isn't always calm. Some days feel heavy, full of unmet expectations, tired routines, or invisible burdens we carry alone. And on those days, gratitude may seem far away, almost unreachable. But that's precisely when it matters most, not when life is polished, but when it feels messy. True gratitude doesn't need perfection, it needs presence. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from craving, wanting things to be different than they are. Gratitude, in contrast, anchors us in the present moment. It softens our grip on how we think life should be, and helps us see how much beauty still exists in what is. Even when things fall apart, there's often a lesson, a connection, or a sliver of light waiting to be noticed. Try this simple shift. At the end of each day, name one thing you're grateful for, not because it's a checklist, but because it rewires your perception. It might be a kind smile, a cup of tea, a moment of silence, or just the strength you found to keep going. Over time, these acknowledgements stitch together a life rich in meaning. Gratitude is not a destination. It's a way of walking through the world. It teaches us that we don't have to escape our lives to appreciate them. Even in sorrow, there can be beauty. Even in uncertainty, a quiet kind of grace. When we live from a place of thankfulness, we stop waiting for happiness to arrive. We begin to experience it now, in real time, through simple awareness. So, ask yourself, can you see the gift in this very moment? Not because everything is perfect, but because you're awake enough to notice what's good. Gratitude doesn't erase life's challenges, but it does remind us that we are never empty. There is always something to hold on to, even if it's just this breath, this lesson, this step forward. Bonus principle: embracing the beauty of change. Close your eyes and picture a sakura tree in bloom, its delicate petals catching the wind, dancing for just a moment before falling to the ground. It doesn't cling to the branch. It doesn't fight the wind. It simply lets go, and in doing so, completes its purpose. This is the essence of impermanence, the quiet truth that everything we know is always in motion. In the heart of Buddhist wisdom lies a simple but profound teaching. Nothing lasts forever. Not our joys, not our sorrows, not even our identities. At first glance, that truth might seem unsettling, but it's not here to take something from you. It's here to set you free. When we stop trying to grip the ungraspable, we make space to truly live. In the modern world, we often resist this truth. We hold tight to relationships, titles, expectations, desperate to keep things from slipping away. But like trying to hold on to water with bare hands, the tighter we squeeze, the more it escapes. And when life inevitably changes, we suffer, not because of the change itself, but because of our resistance to it. Think about the last time you faced an unexpected shift. Maybe it was a job you lost, a person who left, or a plan that unraveled. In those moments, we often feel broken. But what if those moments are not breaking points, but openings? Openings to a version of ourselves we never imagined. Stronger, freer, more aware. Impermanence is not destruction, it's transformation. Buddhism teaches that embracing change is not about giving up. It's about giving in to the flow of life, to the river of reality, to the present moment. The more we accept that all things come and go, thoughts, emotions, seasons, people, the more we begin to cherish what is here, now. So when something beautiful ends, let it. And when something new begins, welcome it. Just like the cherry blossom, your life becomes more radiant when you learn to fall gently with the wind, trusting that every ending is part of a greater unfolding. Let this be your quiet reminder. You are not meant to be unchanging. You are meant to evolve, to grow, to let go, and to bloom again. Conclusion. Life isn't waiting for some perfect moment to begin. It's unfolding right now, in the breath you just took, in the silence between your thoughts, in the choice you'll make after this video ends. Each principle we explored today isn't just a lesson, it's an invitation to pause, to reflect, and to return to what truly matters. You don't need to chase peace. It's already within you. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember who you are beneath the noise. So if something in this video stirred your heart, if a single sentence made you feel seen, understood, or simply still, then this path is already yours. Keep walking it. Subscribe for more timeless wisdom that meets you where you are. Comment below with the lesson that resonated most deeply with you. Stay present, stay grounded, and most of all, stay kind to yourself. This isn't just another video, it's a beginning.